Okay, we are B'Simcha starting Maimer Vav. We're not really going to start Maimer Vav. But the tzaddik starts off like this, the first sentence. Sod HaShabbos, the secret of Shabbos. Omar b'Zohar is stated in the Zohar. It's a Zohar probably many of us that ever davened in a Nusach Sfard Shul are familiar with. Omar b'Zohar kigavna. Kigavna de'inun. Rosa de Shabbos e Shabbos. Rosa de Shabbos, dis achados k'roza de echad. That the secret of Shabbos is that everything becomes one in the secret of one. Yuyin sham ba'arichos, look there ba'arichos. So it's going to be impossible to learn this Maimer unless we learn Kigavna Dina, unless we learn this Shtickle Zohar. So I want to learn this together with you. So I refined it into paper of photocopying. Yeah? If you got my head. I have the Zohar. So let me just give a little bit of an introduction here. A couple of introductions. Mm-hmm. Number one is that, like when it comes to learning these things, we understand what we understand. Whatever understand is good, I figure. If you don't understand the whole thing, you understand the whole thing. Maybe you'll understand more than me. That's point one. Point two is this Zohar of Kigavna De'inon Misyachnin La'ila Ba'echad. So in Nusach Sfard, mostly by not Nusach Sfard so much as Nusach HaChasidim, this is said right before Ma'ariv on Friday night. So it means that where we say Bameh Madlikin, as Chaim says, the Misnagim say Bameh Madlikin, it's easier to pronounce it all. We say Bameh Madlikin. So the Hasidim are saying Kigavna De'inon, they're saying over this chapter of the Zohar. Significant to note that this Kigavna is not just like by accident, like right before Ma'ariv. The Zohar itself ends with the words V'lo Oimar Baruch Hu es Hashem HaMevorach, meaning the Baruch Hu es Hashem HaMevorach, which starts off the Ma'ariv, is the last words of the Kigavna De'inon. It's not just that the Siddur put them together. That is the way the Zohar works. So this is, in Cain, an extremely legitimate hakdama to the Ma'ariv, to the Baruch Hu of Friday night Shabbos. So just before we go to it, I just want to explain this a little bit, and then I think everything will be a breeze. What's the hakdama? We're all become now Nusach Sfard. Okay, the hakdama to Ma'ariv is Kigavna De'inon. So that's the hakdama to Baruch Hu es Hashem HaMevorach. What's the hakdama to Baruch Hu es Hashem HaMevorach all week long? V'hurachum. So Shabbos is not v'hurachum. What do we have against? What do we get against the v'hurachum? Yechafer Avon, Lo Yashkis. Yafeh. So I'll explain to you that, explained this to Rabbi Chaim a couple of days ago, I think. In the sefiros that we are a bit in touch with, you have Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Natzachoi, Yisoid, Malchus. Where's Rachmanos? Where's Rachmim? Rachmim is not one of the sefiros. As much as we like to daven to Hashem for Rachamim, Yivron Shloim, Hat Rachmanos, right? Have Rachamim. We have to understand that Rachamim is not one of the sefiros. In fact, Rachamim is actually a negative thing, because Rachamim implies guilt. When you stand in front of a judge and you say, "Okay, mercy," I mean mercy. Mercy implies guilt. Mercy is the judge getting kind of like off his bench and saying, "Okay, look, I can see a little bit of remorse here. I can see that your family is involved. I can see that you lost your head. I can see this. I can see that." That's what mercy is, right? You're a judge. Emes? That's a mercy. Mercy. The word mercy in legal terms implies guilt. Our terms also. V'hu rachum yichaper avon. Yichaper avon. So, in the words of the Kubalim, rachamim is the sitra achra. Rachamim is not one of the sefiros. The sefiros are the building blocks of the world. Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, Netzach, Chod, Yesod, Malchus. It's all din. Din, Chesed, Gevura. It's all Chesed that we give it the boundaries of din, of Gevura. Chesed, Gevura, din. What is Rachamim? Rachamim is on the side of din where Chesed doesn't apply, on the side of din. So we messed up in din, hence you need rachamim. If you need rachamim, you're already in bad shape. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't daven for rachamim, because maybe we're in bad shape. But what I am saying is that this is called, you have to be careful when you ask for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to rachim na, because it implies din. When we're saying rachim na Hashem Elokeinu al Yisrael Amelcha V'Yerushalayim Mirecha, because we know there was a din of Chorban Beis Hamikdash. You say rachamim when you know there's a din. You don't say rachamim when you didn't do anything wrong. You don't say rachamim when you don't need mercy. It's the wrong thing. What's the pshat that it's b'sitra achra? Let's understand it very yasagasenu. What it means. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bereishis bara Elokim, midas ha-din. Bereishis bara Elokim es ha-shamayim es ha-aretz, and then he goes and switches into the shape of Rachamim. It says Chazal, famous Chazal, Ratz HaKadosh Baruch Hu libra es ha-olam b'midas ha-din, ra she'ein ha-olam miskayim, shitef imay midas ha-rachamim. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Malei Chesed, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Malei Toiv, Toiv HaMeitiv. So what does he have to, like what does he have to make this like a b'diavad? Have Rachmim? It doesn't say Shita V'imay Midas HaChesed, which I've seen it already quoted. It's not true. It says Shita V'imay Midas HaRachamim. Rachamim is a grace of b'diavad. Rachamim is a big b'diavad. Rosh Ein Oilam B'skayim means, okay, but people are going to do Chatoim. People are going to be guilty. I have to put into my plan here a bechina of rachamim. So rachamim is the sitra achra. What's the sitra achra? Sitra achra is the backup battery to when the power goes out. That's the sitra achra. Rosh eino elo b'skayev, if I see already, Hashem says that the world is not going to be b'skayev, with my din here, it's not going to be Miskayim. You're going to end up with a bobble every year. It's not going to be Miskayim. I have to have built into the system, Gufa, a Rachamim, but I don't want to use that. So Sitra Achra, let's understand Sitra Achra as also a force of creation which is coming through a different line and not coming through the line of the sefiros. The sefiros are the healthy building blocks of the world. Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, Shchina, Malchus. Sitra Achra is a line along the side, which is for power outage only. You don't want to use that. Rachamim saves you when you fail in din.
It's not only because it's din.
Yeah, Rachamim is din, but it's the b'diavad of din, it's the Sitra Achra of din. It's very important that we understand this. Just on first of all, to understand what we're learning, but let's understand how to live. You don't live looking for rachamim. Rachamim, you don't live looking for rachamim. Rachamim is a b'diavad when the din fails. Hence, says Chazal. Chazal points this out that the Bereishis bara Elokim Ratza Kadosh Baruch Hu libra es ha'olam b'midas hadin. Rosh Ein Oilam B'skayim. Vas ken b'ton. If there's just din, he wasn't b'shatev. Chesed there already. Chesed comes before din. Oilam Chesed Yiboneh means that the sphere of Chesed was the first hispashtus that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create the world. That's before din. That's there already, the din. That's already, like, he are. There's a problem with Chesed. But the problem is that the chesed gets enveloped and it goes into the kli of din. This is the problem that we're all having here every day, all day. The chesed gets contained in the kli called din, and what happens if I don't fit into that kli? Are you going to? Do I get sustained? Is the world going to be miskayim? The answer is al tzad here. It's the tzad of rachamim. So that's what rachamim shitev. Ibai, he built into the system rachamim. So we only use the lashon of rachamim when we know that we failed the din.
It's not always plugged in. It's not always plugged in.
No. We have to ask for rachamim, but only when we know there's din, like there was a Chorban Yerushalayim. Rachim, no. Similarly, just to take it a step further, the Avos had a psilos. Avram Avinu had the Kupa Shel Shratzim of Terach. Avram had a Yishmael, Yitzchak had an Esav. There was a psilos. That psilos is called the Sitra Achra. How does it come to psilos? How's the psilos in the Bria? It's the birur, the symptom of Avram Avinu taking the chesed, emes Yaakov chesed la'Avram, taking the chesed from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the chesed of the Bria, the chesed of monotheism, the chesed of the energy of chesed, taking it to be mitzab, say, even connected with Soto a little bit into Yitzchak. What I say is that Rabbi Haber needed Sarah to beat him on the head and say, La Yirash ben Ha'aba Zoysi b'ni Yitzchak, not Yishmael. Tzimtzum, we need to be mitzabtzev. Yishmael's Yodei Bakol B'yad Kol Boy. Yishmael's all over the place. That's what you like, Avram Avinu, but no, we need tzimtzum. We got to focus here. I'm not being disrespectful to the others. I live according to that. But what I just want to be masbir, just in a way that we can understand it. Nitzimtzum. So Avraham Avinu is attracted to Yishmael, and Yitzchak's attracted to Esav. No, tzimtzum. When you're being mitzabsed, you have shavings. When you're making something big into something small, you have shavings. The shavings are called psolas, if you will. Even the luchos had shavings. Psolacha, shnei luchos avonim. Psolacha, you get to keep those shavings. What is money? Just put it in your pocket. Don't say nothing. It's Sitra Achra. It's not part of the plan. You understand? Like, in other words, Esav is not part of the plan of the sefiros. So, since it's not part of the plan of the sefiros, it's there, but it's not part of the sefiros. It's the psolos of Sitra Achra. Yaakov Avinu was Titet Eves LiYaakov. So he, Ratzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Libra Yisrael B'midas Hadin. What was Yaakov Avinu always worried about? Shema Yigroim Hadin. Okay, so you have Rachmanis. I don't want no Rachmanis. But Yaakov Avinu was saying, well, hey, wasn't he such a, have to be such a martyr for? He doesn't want any Rachmanis, because Rachmanis is coming to the Sitra for Mitosai Shlema. There's no psilos by Yaakov. We're Mitosai Shlema. So, what we're talking about here, let's bring this out to earth. What does this really mean? We understand that rachamim means implies guilt. On Shabbos, we're saying kigamna de'ilon, which I'm going to explain in a second, begin to explain, ends up with the rose of the Shabbos, the secret of Shabbos, ends up with V'loi bar. How does it go? Baruchi. Right? That's Hashem HaVavorach. I love the counting on you. We have another way to get to Baruch Hu as Hashem HaVavorach without V'hurach L'Michaper Avay. We found a way around getting to Baruch Hu as Hashem HaVavorach without having to go through the gather of Marv, which is Midas Hadid, and we're scared like heck from Midas Hadid, so we start off with V'hurach L'Michaper Avay. So we're going through the channel of Rachamim, but that's how we're getting to Baruch Hu as Hashem HaVavorach, not on Shabbos. So that Shabbos we have a different thing that we don't need. We can circumvent the Rachamim or not go there at all, not go to any Sitra Acher at all, go straight into, this is the Kigavno. We can go straight, V'loimar, now we can say, Baruch Hu es Hashem Avivayrach. You know, just to skip to the end over here, Baruch Hu es Hashem Avivayrach. So the Zohar asks, what's this S for? S is always the rabbis. What are you going to be Barba al Kodesh Baruch Hu? Es Hashem Lekecha Tira. Es Baruch Hu Es Hashem. The rabbis tell me to Chachava. What do we? Right? Es Hashem Lekecha Tira. The rabbis tell me to Chachava. Baruch Hu Es Hashem Avarach. You're thinking about Talmidei Chachava. What's the Baruch Hu Es Hashem Avarach over here? What's the S? Says the Zohar before us that once you go through the sefiros and you really hit Malchus with Emerson, without the Sitra Acher, what does it mean? Simple. I really tied it all together. I took all of the Sheishis Yimei Breishis. I didn't mess up at all. I brought it all into an Echad. So a new din comes, says the Zohar. Now there's a new din called Malchus. The new din called Malchus, Malchus Hashem, is the S, the rabbis. Now we've got the whole Bria in our hands. The whole wide Bria is in our hands. You understand? That's the S, the rabbis. So so everybody with me on this? So we're talking about really something very, very deep, but we're also talking about something, it isn't deep, but it's out there. Sorry. We're also talking something about very, very Lamaisa. And the Lamaisa is that we're Makabel Shabbos, and we're looking at the whole Sheishis Yimei Habaisa, the big one, Sheishis Yimei Habaisa, and our personal Sheishis Yimei Habaisa. I worked for 6 weeks. And it came to a crescendo on Friday. And it's like really tough, and all of a sudden comes Shabbos. So Shabbos, Kabbalas Shabbos, Boi Kalo, Boi Chalo Shabbos, Malchusa. Malchusa. We're being Makabel, the Malchus of Shabbos. What does it really mean? If we don't do this, we miss the point another time, and another week, and another week, and another week. What does it really mean? It means that we're taking everything of the 6 days of creation, Dahainu, the Sheish Sefiros, and we're bringing it into Shabbos. We're tying it all together. When you tie something all together, you're taking 6 and you're making it into 1. So that's the Raza de Echad that we've been learning about. So the Raza de Echad, taking the whole thing, very simple, taking it all together, taking everything that happened this week. Crazy stuff, right? Deals and vices and going and running and schlepping and airplane rides and everything. Crazy stuff. Stop, tie it all together. Boichalo, boichalo. I'm taking it into my life, I'm making it. That's what a Jew is supposed to do, a Shomer Shabbos. That's what a Jew is supposed to do. Take the whole week, once a week, make it into Shabbos, tied together. Now you have Echad. What happens when you have this Echad? So let's, before we get to the Zohar, let's just say simple, what we know. Lokel, Asher Shabbos, Vikol B'Yachtai, B'Yom HaShvi, Hisalba, B'Yoshav Al Kisei Kivoidai. That on the Yom HaShabbos, when we do the Echad thing, or the Lashon of the Zohar, where do you have this? The little Kegabna Dina Misyachtin La'ela Be'echad Be'echad. I read from you from the English. Just as all 6 sefiros unite above in oneness, of Hachi Ihi Syachtos Lasata Barazan Echad Shi, meaning the Shechina is B'yached in this world, Barazan Echad and Te'echad. Lemeve Imoin La'ela Chad L'kabel Chad. Now we're one in this world instead of just like the one in Shemayim. You remember my mashal? Meaning the bicycle wheel. Everything is starting off as echad in the hub of the wheel, the mashal. Everything's starting off as echad in Shemayim. But then it gets into the oilam of the piruda. As the world is created, vayavdil, vayavdil, vayavdil. There's or, there's choshech, there's men, there's women, there's leaves, there's blades of grass. Alma de piruda, spread out, spread out, spread out. What's our job? Make a rim around the wheel. make a rim around the wheel. Now we're making an echad here, just like the echad there. This is, by the way, it's not just like a dimion. Why does a wheel need a spoke? Why does it need a hub? Because it's the power of the hub which is giving koach. It's that solidness, it's that festigkeit in the middle of the echad, which is allowing for the very, very big power. It has to be able to be machzik, the spokes and the power and the weight that you're putting on it, to be able to arubringulin with the echad of the outside. So this is you need all three parts. You can't just have a rim; it'll just crush. If you just have a rim, why don't they just get rid of the middle part? You need it. So now we're talking about we need an echad keneged echad. It's an echad keneged echad. What happens when we do that? L'kavel means like hakbala is a parallel. This chad keneged this chad. What happens? L'kel asher shavas b'kol l'achter b'yoyim hashvi hisalo v'yoshav al kisei kvoidai, says the Kagavna, kuchabrichahu echad. Le'ela, you should know this, says the Zayar, that in Shabayim, la yasiv al kursayu diyakare. He will not sit on his kisei hakavoid adi savitasi b'razad echad, until the Shekhinah becomes echad. Kigavna delay lemevi echad be'echad. V'ho kibna. This is how we should understand, and we should learn razad Hashem echad u'shmoy echad. So gewaldig. Hashem echad u'shmoy echad. What's the kfeish? No, what's the kfeilas halash? Hashem echad u'shmoy echad. Because the shemais of HaKadosh Baruch Hu are the articulations and the manifestations of the koach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world as we understand it. The din, the shemais of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which represent how we can approach this, how we can feel this, how we can see the different emanations of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. That's the shemais of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the ultimate articulation. We see midas hadid, we see midas hachesed, midas harachamim, etc. But it's all right. It's all echad. That's Hashem echad. And now we're taking all the shemais, and we're not making the mistake of history of saying shtei reshuyos. We're not becoming dualists or polytheists or Zoroastrists or whatever the heck. The people could not deal with all the different aspects of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's too complicated. So okay, it must be 2 gods or 3 gods, or Zeus and Lahabdil 10,000 gods, because we see so many different aspects of Hashem. These were thinking people. But they couldn't tie it all together. That's what they couldn't do. They couldn't tie it together, so they ended up with shtei reshuyos. Chashiv people. Shtei reshuyos is solving the problem throughout history. The Christians decided they like it in triplicate better.
Their perspective is the Shema.
Yeah, they even say Shema. There's 3 Shema. They talk about the Shemas. So of course it was Lishma. In other words, but it was trying to understand and trying to approach. So if you're, God forbid, believing in that, so you could do an Avera and you could say, hey, the devil made me do it. This is not coming from an Echad over here. But we're integrated. This is the hard thing to be. It's hard to be Jewish. This is the Shveretz Zayda to integrate the ups and the downs, and the tzaras, to integrate the gashmius with the ruchnius, and come out with all of those spokes and put a rim around it and say Hashem echad. And when we can do this, the echad keneged echad, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we need to understand the significance of it, is Yoshev al kisei kevoidai. Nisalo v'yoshav al kisei kevoidai, meaning that we're like so totally hooked up. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is al kisei kevoidai. We'll keep the razad echad, and we are now Mekayim al Shabbos Hashem echad u'shma echad. Shamar v'zachar v'dibur echad ishmiyanu kel ha'miyuchad. Hashem echad u'shma echad l'shem u'l'sefiros. So that's the sefiros. Sefiros. That's it. We're putting it all together because Hashem echad u'shma echad. Now, let me just go back a little bit. We just were mefarished on some level the first chapter, the first paragraph of Kingship, before we get to the Raz of the Shabbos. That's what it means. It's ki gavna l'chafa, just as they say. Ki gavna, just as they say. It's interesting, by the way, that we had the word a couple of days ago when Reb Tzadok was speaking about wearing white. He says ki gavon lavan. Remember that lesson? Mm-hmm. Gavon means in Zohar language it means color. What's gavon and gavna? Like Aramaic grammar, because gavna means that it's not it, but it's a reflection of it. Color is a reflection. Color is a reflection of light. It's not the. It's a reflection. This is Hashem echad u'shmo echad. This is how it's reflecting in this world. That's kigavna. The word gavon is color. The word gavon is the reflection, the manifestation, the emanation, whatever any of these words mean. But as it presents to us in this world. Now, if you look at the Zohar, by the way, of kigavna is in Parshas Truma. Parshas Truma is talking about what? The mishkan and Shabbos.
Okay.
Ad kedei kach, that the kasha is what's the Shabbos doing in the mishkan. Okay, so you have to stop doing the blachas of mishkan on Shabbos. So let me just tell you how this works. Just the idea of how it works. If you go to the Zohar and Parshas Truma, it says Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, amongst many other things here. I want to teach you, says Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, the secret of the six. He talks about the Magen David. Has how many points? 6. What is that Jewish symbol? So we find in the Mishkan itself 6 major materials that were used. Zahav, v'chesef, v'nechoshes, chelis, v'argam, and v'selah shani. Adhacha shis-sitri. It means to say these are the 6... These are the 6... This can trouble somebody today. Let's get a small cup of water here. Penny or the water. Anything upstairs maybe. Do you mind? Anything? Yeah, upstairs. I'm sorry, I apologize. I feel it. These are the 6 major categories of gashmius, like zav, chesef, and choshes. Right? What are you investing in? Zav, chesef, and choshes. Cheles, because you're getting into the wool, that's what's mined from the ground, that's what grows from the ground, argomon, telah shani, silk. These are Reb Shimon Bar Yochai teaches, the mishkan was made out of this stuff. The Shekhinah's got to sit on this stuff, because these are the 6, the Sheishes Yemei Ma'aseh. In other words, like the ultimate gashmius, which we would think has nothing to do with the Shekhinah, it's got everything to do with the Shekhinah. This is the Merkava of the Shekhinah. The Gufa is the Merkava of the Shekhinah. Now you should know that they all have a psilos. We'll go back to that in a minute. They all have a psilos. But, boy, can you mess up with Zav and Kesef and the Choshes. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. So these are the 6 places, amazingly, that the Shekhinah can rest. Zav, Kesef, Nechoshet, Zav, Kesef, Nechoshet, Chelis, Argomon, Telah Shani. Like everything you got in your house, maybe. Like don't buy polyester. The Shekhinah can't rest on polyester. It's real things. Real things. Things with integrity. Things that could be used for toy, things that could be used for ra. When the Shekhinah is resting on Zav and Kesef and Nechoshes, you know what you did? You united. You tied it all together. You did the Rosa De'echad here. Like nobody's against all of these things. It's not Jewish to be against it. Why is it Christian to be against it? Well, we're talking about Christians. Because these are different things. These are different energies. We don't know any other energies. There's only one energy. It's Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. There's only one energy. The Zav Kesef V'Nechoshes. Take it. I keep talking about this. Haflu V'Fellow. Where did they get the Zav Kesef V'Nechoshes? Like from the Mitzrayim. Like Babish ugly, tainted Zav Kesef V'Nechoshes. Where did it get from? But you know, where did the Egyptians get it from? From Yosef. So like, the pshat is that we're taking, Mitzrayim represents the grungiest earthly place in the world. And we're taking that lowest place that there could possibly be, Memtes Shari Tuba, and we're grabbing it out of Mitzrayim. Look what's going on here. We're grabbing it out of Mitzrayim, we're taking it out of our shoulders, we're going into the midbar, and we're turning it into a mishkan. And if we're not well behaved, we turn it into an Egel Hazah. Yisrael nitvoyim b'noisnim. You can take everything that you've got, everything that Hashem has given us, and we can turn it into the mishkan, or we can turn it into the Egel Hazah. So this is what's the nega, the oideg that we keep talking about. But we're taking these are the 6 points, if you will. Now on top of this, interesting, says Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, there are the 6 Zmanim, because not only do we have stuff, we also have time. And time is also a bria of gashmius. Just a little bit more difficult to wrap our brains around. Time. But we have time. Or we don't have time. No. We know that we have time, but we don't have time. We just don't know what it is. We don't understand time as anything other than a measuring device of something or another. But it's not. Time is a bria. So says the Zohar, understand this. Zav, when we're talking about gold, Raza the Yom Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the golden standard, the golden day. Kesef do Yom HaKippurim. The Mislabnon, Chubayron the Yisrael, the Talga. The gold, you see the Egel Hazor. Silver is white. And you know, like we don't wear gold on Yom Kippur. Silver, yes. But silver is white. So, Mislabein. Remember the big day lava. Nechoshes, which I don't relate as much to as Kesef Zav, Zav v'Chesef, Yoimed de Kroven de Chag, the Sukkos. That's the Nechoshes is the Sukkos. Tcheles da Pesach, Shultanei de Raza de Mamnusa. Argomon, as much as we can understand, the Argomon, the Shavuos, the Teilah, Shadi, what's left? We did Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Pesach. What's left? Go back to what's left? Argomon, da Shavuos, Teilah, Shadi, so. Da iu tu ba'av. What did the girls wear on Tu ba'av? The B'nai Yisrael have an afki b'manabilas. Because that's the side of the B'nai Yisrael. So, what does it all mean? Ad hachash yisidran b'kanal halu raza da aseres shuva. Okay, let's. So far we have the 6 points of our gashmius, 6 points of our portfolio, which correspond to the 6 points of our calendar. So we have 6 keneged 6. If you miss one of these yontovs, you're missing one of the sefiros. You don't have echad. You need an echad. I'm skipping a little bit. From all of these, we have to give Truma Hashem for the mishkan. We bring karbanos for the mishkan. We bring from our stuff. We bring from our time. Shalosh regalim. We take off our time. So we're giving our time and our money to the mishkan. Why? All of these 6 are the 6 sefiros, which are connected the Sheshes Yemei Havaisa. The Sheshes Yemei Havaisa is your Rosh of Shis, not to mention the Shis Alfei Shnid, the 6,000 years before we come to a Yom Shekula Shabbos of Menucha. So you have the Sheshes Yemei Havaisa, which is represented in the Mishkan, Ubayom HaShabbos. And when it comes to Shabbos, what do? We don't throw away the stuff. Oinig Shabbos, we take it, we tie it all together. So Shabbos, the Rosh of the Shabbos, is we're taking, this is what Shimon is teaching so important, we're taking the Zav, the Kesef, the Nechoshes, the Tchelos, the Argama, the Telah Shani, and we're taking the Rosh Hashanah, the Yom Kippur, the Sukkot, the Pesach, and the Shavuos, and the Tu B'Av, which is the ultimate in, like everybody learns the Gemara, Tu B'Av, and say, wow, this does not sound Haredi. like what's going on here with the girls running around in the fields looking for a shidduch? It's like one of those things, like you wouldn't fly today in Bnei Brak. So what is it? But it's the ultimate Malchus. It's the ultimate Merkava for the Shechina, where we take everything, and we bring it together for what? All the Kavod Shabbos Kodesh. So Shabbos, we call all the when it comes to the mission, we call all the Niklid Trumas Hashem B'chol Zmano Uzmano. We take the Trumas Hashem B'chol Zmano Uzmano, begin La Hashra Alon, in order to have the Hashra. Remember we learned about Hashra? Hashra is the ultimate. There's Ishtalshlus, there's Havasha, Levushin, and then there's Hashra. Hashra is when everything hits the ground. Midas HaYisod. Rosh Hashanah, not the Trumas Hashem, V'yu Rosh of the Rosh Hashanah, etc., etc. Kigam Nodeinon. And now, just like we've taken the 6 and we were Mekadosh it throughout the whole calendar, throughout every single thing that we could possibly own, from your gold to your silver to your pennies, we've taken everything that you've owned. Kigam Nodeinon Misyachtin Leila Be'echad. Just like all of those 6 things can be tied together, Be'echad, Ufachi, and we have Shabbos. So as much as you have a mishkan, and as much as you have the whole calendar, and as much as you have everything that you own, on top of it all, or on the bottom of it all, however you look at this tree, you have the Shabbos. And that's the Rosh of the Shabbos. Because the Rosh of the Shabbos, more than anything, is tying it down around. Now, what's it called when you tie it all together? Think about it for a second. It's called Hashem Echad U'Shmai Echad, right? It's called L'Shem, Shame, Shmai Echad. Well, the sefiros, testing for sefiros, bringing it all together. Ula Tehillah, but what it's really called is Malchus. Because Malchus, Hashem, is when HaKadosh Baruch Hu's intention for the entire Bria happened. That's what's happening on Shabbos. It's happened. Everything that you created in this world, we're using to make a world for you. We're using to make a world which is Molokol Eretz Kevoida. It's only at this time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could be Nesala v'Yashav al Kisei Kevoida. Now you're a king. Now you can sit on the throne. So who's throning HaKadosh Baruch Hu?
Yes, sir.
Am Yisrael, Hamamlich Malachim. We're the Mahamlich Malach.
Shabbos Malchus is feminine?
What?
Shabbos Malchus is
feminine. Ihi Shabbos.
Yeah, so why feminine?
Because the Shlit'a is a makabel. Because what we're talking about over here, we're talking about makabel. Makabel is always the case.
Why is Shabbos makabel?
Shabbos is what happens on Yom HaShvi. What happens on Yom HaShvi is all of this energy, which is positive energy, assertive energy, not passive energy, is miskabel by the Shabbos. So do we say the sefiros that the whole azaber b'shvachim, the beil v'pischim, the b'chakel tapuchim, the idun kadisha, the whole azaber b'shvachim is all about chassid and kala, right? Chassid and kala. Shabbos boy chala. You don't need the sefiros, you have to say that.
So in the Yemei Mashiach, when every day is Shabbos, we won't be saying L'Urachon.
Never. Never be in the Indian of Rachmans.
Why is it Le'ila B'Chad?
Huh?
Tied together the gashmius and the Zmanos. So why is it Rabbi Din Misachtan La'ela Zechot?
Because what's happening is that we're giving meaning to the echad, which is in Shemayim, and we're bringing it all together in Aretz. Now you have echad, connected echad. So Shabbos is creating the echad Labata and Malchus, which is more important in a way than the echad and Shemayim, if it's possible to say something. But now that we've attached the whole thing, and now that the hub and the rib have some connection with each other, because we did this, like every one of we say when we say Kabbalah Shabbos, so we say 6 Mizmarim and then Mizmar Shir L'Yom HaShabbos. So the 6 Mizmarim was Keneged the Yimois HaShavua. L'Chadoyni L'Kerskala, we give this beautiful introduction, which Alkabitz wrote, of L'Chadoyni L'Kerskala. Then we say Mizmar Shir L'Yom HaShabbos. Or if you're like extremely litfish, you just say Mizmar Shir L'Yom HaShabbos. So there's a Mizmar Shir L'Yom HaShabbos. There's one sitting next to this very, very hush of a person in New York. So he was talking to me the whole time I was trying to say Kabbalah Shabbos. I like Kabbalah Shabbos. He was talking. So I said, I probably said to him, I probably said it in a more polite way than this. But I said, why do you keep talking during davening? Like you're a big Talmud Chacham. Like, why are you talking during davening? So he said that to me that the 6 Mizmarim of Kabbalah Shabbos is not davening. It's not a tefillah. It's an amira. Okay. It's like I'm saying, brisker margin. Not a tefillah, it's an amira. So an amira, there's nothing wrong. You're not supposed to talk during tefillah, but you can talk during. We're not saying anything to other parts. The evidence is right. It's an amira. It's a statement about the what's going on in the 6 sefiros of Hashem Malach Kedus Lavesh. But it all comes together with Mizmar Shir L'Yom HaShabbos, Toiv L'Hoidois L'Hashem L'Zamim L'Shimcha Aliyah. We were taking all the 6 sefiros, all the 6 ksavos, all the 6 points of the Magen David. We're taking Sheshes Yimei HaMaisa. We're taking all the 6 Roshei Chayber in this world of the Mishkan, and we're taking every 6 that there could possibly be, the 6 holidays on the calendar, and we're taking them all and we're making into one Shabbos. That's the Rosh of the Shabbos. I'll just tell you one thing before we stop here. That it's so interesting that Nusach Ashkenazi missed all this fun, which we've only just begun. So I don't think so, because I think that Bameh Madlikin is even deeper. Just think about it. What are we talking about over here? We're talking about how does a Jew light Shabbos candles? Why do we light Shabbos candles? How does a Jew make fire in this world? You see, lighting a fire is the ultimate human creation. Like that an Eish came, like everybody gets all excited when an Eish comes min hashamayim, like the burning bush, But nobody gets excited when we can make a fire. It's really the other way around. For kadosh Baruch to make a fire, what's the kasha? So he made oceans, he made grass, he made trees, he made people. He made a fire. Like the grace of Gedula for kadosh Baruch. That a human being could figure out how to make an eish lamata, and this is the side of eish lamata, eish lamala, right down to dasan vavira. What does it mean that we made an eish lamata? What it means is that we've taken everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has made, and we're using it in the most constructive, productive, fascinating way, where you can have heat, and you can have food, and you can have warmth, and you can feel good. That's heat. What we have from fire is existence gufa, but it's a human creation. It's mamish yisarus delasata. It's mamish Malchus. It's mamish Malchus. Now, it's a very interesting thing with Eish. A couple of interesting things about Eish. Bameh Madlikin and Bameh Madlikin. It's not so pasha with Eish. First of all, Eish, as much as it can be, when it's contained and used properly, can be the most constructive energy that the man can create. It can also be, as we all know, the most destructive. In other words, every time like a bomb goes off someplace below Aleinu, it's a bechina of Eish. A house burns down, it's a bechina of Eish. Eish out of control is the most destructive. Isn't it interesting how the most constructive, it's not like magnetism, It's not like other areas of physics which are okay, like, ooh, you abused your magnets. No, it's not going to kill the world, gravity maybe, but it's not going to. But Eish is about Shadavar HaMachriv, and Eish is when contained, is the ultimate Isarusa de l'Sata, in tying it all together. I've taken the whole Bria, and I've lit a candle. You see, the candle, the fire is, the most, the best example, the closest we can get in this world that we can see with our eyes, with science, of taking gashmius and turning it into ruchnius. We're taking gashmius of wood and oil, and we're turning it into heat and energy and happiness and light. So, you think like in the Malchus Choshech that the Egyptians could have lit candles? It was dark, light candles, turn on the lights. Ma'abaya. What do you think? Anybody ever think about that before? Light candles, why was this such a big deal? Nobody could stand, nobody could sit, the darkness was so thick.
Hashem didn't let it happen.
Hashem didn't let it happen. So you stay. No candles either. You think you could outsmart the Bria? This is the light that we can create, or the charbon that we can create, or the light that we can create with a certain amount of solus. Harusa de l'Sata is touchy business because there's a lot of solus there. So comes the Mishnah that says to us, you know what? Here, listen to this. If you're going to be madlik with neft, if you're going to be madlik with fuels that have a lot of impurities to them, you're going to get a lot of smoke, you're going to get a lot of smell, you're going to get a lot of sitra achra. If you're going to light with shevet zayis zoch, mitzvah min amuvchar. Why? Because no smell. If it smells good. And if it smells, it means you didn't buy really shevet zayis zoch. Kosis. Or if you're lighting with shevet zayis, you're at the purest, no psolas. You're in the bechina of Yaakov Avinu. So when we Litvaks say bameh madlikin and bameh ein madlikin, could be it's like even sweeter than kegavna de'inun, because kegavna de'inun is explaining the side of the backroom secret of Raza de'echad, of the oneness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but the manifestation, the ultimate manifestation is light a candle. Look what you could do with this world. You could take gashmius and turn it into ruchnius. Gevalt. It's just such a gevalt to light a candle. So we do it when Shabbos comes in, and we do it when Shabbos goes out, and we're lighting Shabbos, and try as much as you can, says the Torah, to not use chomer that has psilus in it, because when you have psilus, it's not going to be, it's taking away from the achdus of that fire. And we light two candles, echad keneged shamar, echad keneged zachar, and then your grandchildren too, but the ikar is shamar v'zachar, because shamar v'zachar b'dibor echad namra. Until, like it's so special that we go into Shabbos with shamar v'zachar, b'dibor echad, but by the time we finish Shabbos, we have a Havdalah candle, which is all has to be intertwined. You have to put the two together. So you go into Shabbos like this is it with our own families. You go into Shabbos like this, and you come into Shabbos like this. And if it works exactly the opposite, you are in trouble. It's not the way it's supposed to go. The way it's supposed to go is you're supposed to be starting off with two, and the two become one until you have an avuka mitzvah min avukah. Avuka mitzvah min avukah. This is the beauty of the Eish of Shabbos. So I don't think that it's any less to say Bameh Madlikin than it is to say Kegavna De'inun. And nobody says V'hu Rachum on Shabbos, because Rachamim has no makom on Shabbos. Because Rachamim is Sitra Achra. But when you have Echad Sheba Echad, Razan Echad, I Echad, Afi, and Echad Keneged Echad, so you have no Sitra Achra. You have Oidik. You have Oidik. And everything comes together as one. So we'll finish with the Kagatla, the Yidah, stuff.